All right. We are at the last part of project one. So we are going into our final presentation, our final deliverables, and let's just review the project brief together and see where we're at. So hold on, let me get this centered so you can read it. All right, today we reviewed our digital roughs, our 20 digital roughs, and now we're going to take our chosen mark and we're going to type out our name and pair it with our mark. Working with a minimum of the 12 centigrade typesetting. Actually, I have 10, so I think it's 10. So sorry about that. I have a typo there. It's not 12, it's 10. We're going to try out multiple variations. You can do all caps, mixed case, all lowercase. We want to look at scale, contrast, posture, style, value. We're then going to look at our business card and we're going to lay out our design on the business card. And you have two sides to your business card. You're going to have your mark and your name and contact information all on one side of the card. And then you can make a second side of the card that's much more about the mark. It just has the mark on it. So let's look over here at what I mean. So here is an example of all 10 typefaces with my mark. So here's my mark. And I've just, for right now, just typed out my name in all 10 typefaces that we can choose from. Now, obviously, I have the whole family I can choose from. So even though, like right here, I have Bodoni, I can say, okay, there's Bodoni regular. Let me look at, at book, and let me look at maybe book italic, maybe look at bold. I can play with it. And I can do that with each one. Here's Garamond. And I can look at like italic, semi-bold italic, and so on and so forth. So I can kind of look at each one and think, my typeface, my design here is a very geometric design, right? I'm using a very circular A, lowercase a, and then you can see the inside. This one is a 2 initial, so it's the lowercase a and then a capital D is the counter. So I can then play with how I want my name and my mark to connect. So right now I'm going to take them both. I'm going to use my alignment tools up here, and I can try a couple different ways to align them. I can align them low. I can align them through the center. Let me make this a typeface. Sorry, it's not going to align right because it's not an outline. It's not an object. Okay, now they're both objects. I'm going to center it. There we go. So I can center it on the line. I can center it moving it lower. I can center it on the top, right? And I can use these alignment tools at the top of my window to kind of decide how I want it. Well, I think for me, this works really probably best centered. So I'm going to just center them. Once I know what size and scale I want. Notice how I want to make sure my name is big enough to balance out the mark, because this is a personal identity. It is about people knowing my name. So I'm going to take this design here. I'm going to copy it once I've decided. So here's my type study, looking at all the typefaces. I'm going to choose one, and I'm going to come over here and start thinking about how I want my arrangement to be. So here's my arrangement if I do them side by side. But then I'm also going to look at, what if I stack it and I put the A above? And so what if I stack it? I'm going to center it. I don't know if I like that as much because I have like a short first name and a middle initial I'm using and my last. So I'm like, I don't know if I like that. So I'm going to probably, for me, just stay with the horizontal application. I think that works better when I get to my card. The next thing I'm going to think about are, what are the information I need on my card? And the things I'm going to need is, for example, an email address. And you can just make up a domain name. You don't have to have it be a real domain name. I happen to have a real domain name, so I'm going to use it. So my domain is dig.design. So I'm going to use that. And then you can do a couple things. You can put a phone number in. You don't have to. It can also just be like your place you live. So for me, I'm not going to use my address. We don't really do that anymore, a lot of times for just safety's sake. So I'm just going to put Milwaukee. So these are going to be the 3 pieces of information I'm going to put on my business card. I'm going to put there has to be a way for someone to contact you. So it has to be an email or a phone number or both. A web address so they can see your portfolio because you're a designer. So you want to have a portfolio. And if you don't have one, just make one up. And then the city I live in. So I'm going to put Milwaukee. All right. So those are the 3 pieces of information I'm going to put on my business card. And then I can decide when I'm looking at this. So notice how my name is a medium weight. I used a medium weight. I might want to use a different weight of the same typeface for my contact information. So I might make this. So for example, I'm using light. Thin kind of gets too light. It's a little hard to read, but I think light is perfect so that there's a hierarchy. And then I'm going to make these all definitely smaller than my name because the name still, again, should be the winner. There should be the biggest thing on my business card, the thing that has the most presence. So the next step is building a business card, and I have given you some templates. So if we go back to our assignment brief, I am going to, oh, you know what? This isn't going to take, can I go back? I think it's just in my, hold on, I got to sign back in. I lost my page. Okay, so I'm in the assignments and exercises, project 1, click. And at the top here, you're going to see attached files. And so there's 3 different files, and I'm going to show you all of them. There's a US business card landscape, there's a US business card portrait, and a US business card square. These are all templates that you can use to build your business card from. And I'm going to open them up. I have them already on my computer. Give me 1 second. Hold on a minute, let me get this. Okay, here is the business card landscape. This is the business card square, portrait. And then this is the business card square. So these are templates from Moo, which is a company I print business cards with all the time. And so I'm using these because I think they're really handy, and I'm going to show you how they work. So I've given you all 3. And so these are the 3 different ways that business cards, and they're the actual size. And so here, each one of these is a template. And so they're showing you a couple things I want you to understand when you're designing anything for print. What's in pink is the bleed area. So if you're going to have a color bleed off the edges of your card, the color has to go all the way out to this pink area so that it prints. The trim is this black solid line. That's where the card will actually trim. But again, if you're going to have color or graphics bleeding off the edge, you want them to go beyond the trim. So if the trim isn't perfect, it doesn't have a gap in the artwork. So the black line is your trim. And the dotted line is that it's the safe area. You want to have everything that's important inside that dotted line because you don't want things too close to the trim because, again, the trim is a machine and it could make mistakes. And we don't want to cut off anything like the phone number or the email address, something that's important. You want to do a couple things. You're going to want to make sure that you outline your text before saving. You want to make sure that all of your layers you create outlines for. And if there's anything, we don't want this guideline group layer to be in the final design. So this is just for you to understand how this works. So the way you find out how to use this, you go into the layers. And so the layers will show you there is an artwork guide, and I can turn it off and it goes away. And then it says your design. So your design is going to go on the layer that says your design. And once you've got it in, you can turn off this, and then you can check it and make sure everything's where it needs to be. And once you know everything's where it needs to be, you can select this artwork guidelines layer and go to the delete button and delete it once you're done. That's just for you to use as a guideline. And you can turn it off when you don't need it. And so you can put your whole design here. So let's say I'm going to go over to my artwork. I'm going to copy it. I'm going to come over here to my business card, and I'm going to paste it. And so I'm going to start with this. I'm going to group these two pieces because this is how I want these to work. And I'm holding my shift key down when I scale it because I want to scale it to fit my card. And these are not made into outlines yet. I'm going to do that once I know they're what I want. I'll go ahead and change them to outlines. And then I'm going to play with like how do I want these? Now remember, in Illustrator, you can turn on your rulers by hitting Control on the PC, Command on the Mac, R, and they turn rulers on and off. And the thing that's really helpful is we can turn on this artwork guideline and pull our rulers into that our guidelines into that dotted line so that we know how close we can get to the edge. We don't want to go over. I can then turn my guidelines off. And now I can say, okay, Milwaukee is like right on the edge. That's probably too close. And then I can kind of start deciding how I want to arrange things. You know, how I want to do this. You know, how I want to organize my elements. I can also think about how I want to align things. Like maybe I want things aligning with my name. Maybe I want to do that. And then maybe I want to have another guideline over here, kind of aligning things this way. Look for ways to create alignments. You can also play with scale. Like I might realize Milwaukee doesn't need to be the same size. Maybe it goes a little smaller. I don't need to be that big, perhaps. And play with that. Or maybe I want these two elements together because they belong together, and maybe Milwaukee kind of comes down here by itself. That's a different piece of information. So you can kind of play with how you want to do that. And then once you have everything laid out, you can decide on color. For example, we want to add color to our designs, and we made a color. So we looked at colors on our mural board. So if I go back to mural, bringing my mural up. A second. Okay. I'm going to go back to mural, and I'm going to go on Kevin's board and take a look at his colors. Okay, so Kevin has a mood board of like all of these really interesting colors. I'm going to do something. I'm going to take this picture of these kind of soft, more pastel-y colors. And I'm going to go ahead and download this for myself as, I want to save this as a PNG, and I'm going to download it. And the reason is I want to create a color palette off of that picture. So I'm going to go into Adobe Color. It's color.adobe.com. And I can extract a theme by going to extract theme, and it says drag and drop your file. So I'm going to grab that file I just downloaded from Kevin. and I'm going to drag it onto this, and look what it does. It automatically created this beautiful color palette for me. So I'm going to go over here, and I made already a GD1 library. You can just add a library by clicking this plus button, and you can name it. So you can make it GD1, just like I did. I've already done it. Call it GD 1.5 since I've already made one. And so now it automatically is going to say it's going to save to GD 1.5. Okay, and it tells me the name, color theme by Kevin, right? This is from Kevin's picture. And I'm going to say save. And now I'm going to go back into my Illustrator. I'm going to open up libraries, which is over here. Under window, you can find it here too, libraries. And it's going to take just a minute because it's an online feature. It's got to populate. And there's my new library, GD 1.5. And there is my color theme. And so what I'm going to do is say, all right, I'm going to select my logo. And where are my tools? I gotta make my window a little smaller. I can't see everything. There we go. All right, so I have my color theme, and I'm going to say to my colors, I right clicked, and I'm going to say add color to swatches, or add theme. I'm going to say add theme to swatches. Sorry, add theme to swatches. If I say color, it's just going to add one color. I want to add this whole theme. I'm going to say add theme to swatches, and I'm going to go to window, and I'm going to go to color. Oh, my color's already open. Where is my color? Color, where are you? I don't see it, so I'm going to just tell it to do it again. Window, color. Oh, it was on my other screen. Sometimes I have two screens, so sometimes these windows go into the wrong screen. Okay, here's my color. And I'm going to say, show options. I want to see swatches. And I'm going to pull down this. And you can see down here, I want to make sure you guys see this. So I've added these colors from my library into my swatches. They're right here. And it says color theme Kevin. See, it keeps the name. It keeps the name exactly. And so that's awesome. I'm going to say, okay. So now I'm going to go over here and select the purple. And then this one, I'm going to make a different purple. And this is going to be a different purple. And Milwaukee's going to be in blue. And then I'm going to make the whole background. I'm going to grab my rectangle tool and go all the way through the background with the lightest color. And I'm going to go object, arrange, send to back. And there it is. There's all my colors. Now I'm going to think, maybe this is too many colors. So maybe I'm going to go white here. Or maybe I want to do it the opposite way and go really dark with my background. Make this white. Make this, the light color. Make this the light color. Make this the light color. So I can play with those things. I can also do things like adding like some stripes in here or something. And playing with those kinds of things. So these are all things that you can explore and try. You can decide your color, your background of your card is two different colors. You can make it one color there. Pull this up to the front, object, arrange, bring to front. And I can decide to make it two colors, and then maybe this gets really dark. So lots of things you can explore. And let's say I have it where I want it. And so then I'm going to go back to my layers because I want to check to make sure I'm okay within the artwork guide. So these guys are kind of covering the guide. So I can kind of see that. So you can remember you have to be outside. So I'm kind of having to move that so I can see the guide. I'll leave this up there. There we go. And that's actually why I drew these guides on here for the live area, because I wanted to make sure that I won't be able to see the guides when I have color all over it, so that I know this is my safe area and all of my type is in the safe area. And I know my full color elements have to go off the edge of the cut line, which is this black line. Okay. All right, I'm going to pause here and see if there are any questions. I know I just kind of gave you a lot of an overview. Questions? I don't see my chat, so let me see if anyone, hold on a second. Oh, thank you. Thank you, Candy. Candy has given us an inside scoop as being a printer. Blacks or deep reds? You are right. Red is probably the hardest color ever to print. Agreed.
Reds and purples, blacks too.
Mm-hmm. Blacks. You want to always use rich black. If you're doing black, you always want to use rich black.
Rich black, yep.
Mm-hmm. All right. Good, thank you. Thank you. And I forget we have a printer in the house. That's awesome. So any other?
I could share this information with you guys.
I know. I'm glad you are. That's fantastic. Rachel, I see your hands up. Go ahead.
So clarification for what is due on Tuesday. It's 10
Yeah.
different variations of your name, your logo, your stuff.
Hold on. There it is. Okay. Where is it? All right.
It said
So
12, but actually 10.
It's 10. It's 10. Yeah. This is a typo. Apologies. It's 10. So in other words, you're going to look at your 10 different roughs with your name and contact. Oh my God, there's another. Now it says contact. I need to prove this better. Oh my goodness. So what we're going to be doing, you don't need to have them printed because we're not an in-person class, we're an online class. So you can just have them put on the rough. So basically your business card, those roughs are for you to do. You're going to be delivering your final on Tuesday. So you're going to be doing these steps and putting them on your mural board. So these 2 steps of doing, let me look at my design just to kind of show you again to make sure we all have it. So you're going to be creating this. Let me open up this a little bigger and move all of these guys. You're going to be doing this where you're going to be looking at all the typefaces, right? With your name, with your logo. You're going to then decide how the logo and your name are going to work together. Is it centered and stacked, or is it side by side? Then you're going to go ahead and build your business card. And we're going to be looking at the final presentation. So for class, you're going to be doing step 2, which is those 2 things. And then you're going to, and the other thing I forgot to say is your design on your card is 3 colors. Even though when you do a color palette, it's going to give you 5, you're only going to use 3. You're going to use 3 of the 5 colors, much like you saw me doing here. You're just going to, I think actually I only used 2, but you get the idea. You're going to use up to 3 colors. You can use 2 as well if you want, but up to 3 colors for your design on your business card. And so those are all going to be posted to your mural board, and make sure that you label them so we know what typefaces they are. So when we're talking about it during the critique, you know what typeface you use. It's important to be knowledgeable of the choices you're making. And then our final deliverable is due on Tuesday. So we're not printing because this is an in-person class. I mean, not an in-person class. So you're just going to put your final business card and your final logo together up on Blackboard in the assignment Dropbox. And then we're also going to be putting them on Mural. So we're going to be putting your business card, and you can do 2 sides to your business card. Like I was saying, you can do this one like this, and this could be your front. And you can do a second side that is just like your logo on the back if you want, without the name. So it can just be, for example, if I do file, let's see, where's my artboard? Here it is. No, that's layers. Where's my artboard? Here we go. Why is it so long? There we go. I'm going to add a second artboard. You can do a second side to your business card. You can bring this all over. And then on this side, all I'm going to have on this side is my logo. It's not going to have my name. You know, it's just going to be my logo. And maybe I do something, oops, maybe I do something, you know, a little bit more extreme. Maybe I do some cropping or do some kind of, you know, something kind of otherly on this side, or what have you, right? So then you have two sides, one that's just your logo, one that has all your contact information. And so we're going to be the final business card, and you're going to save them as PDF. The business card front and back is a PDF, and you can save it out as a 2-page artboard and then save it out as a PDF, multi-page PDF. And then you'll make sure all your text is outlined, and you'll do an illustrator of your final artwork as well. And you're going to put those up on Blackboard for grading. So you're going to have your final artwork of your business card, and then your final artwork, illustrator artwork of just this logo. So like this logo would also be on its own board all by itself.
Okay, so just, sorry, one more time. So
Yeah.
what we need to do for final, we need to put in our refinements on mural and do all 10 of the typefaces and show
Mhm.
that. And then we need to show different arrangements of the logo and our name. How many of those? Is that the 10?
That's the 10.
That's the 10, okay. And
Mhm.
then we need to pick one that we like and put it on a business card with our contact information and make that one our final with the two potential.
That's right. That's
Okay.
right. And it's all laid out right on the project brief. So if you go
Yep.
to step 2, it's all here on step 2. And you're going to put them on your mural board. And then you're going to have everything for the final deliverable ready for Blackboard. And then we're going to have a critique board like we did today, only it's going to be your final art. Okay, all on one board. And I'll have that ready for you to pop everything onto. So yeah, our
Okay.
final presentation is Tuesday.
When it says under final deliverables number 2, it says illustrator.ai file of your final artwork 8.5 by 11.
Yeah, and you know what? That was because I was for a print class. You can keep them anything under 8.5, 11 or under is fine for our purposes. We're not printing them, so that was for based on printing, and we're not printing. So
Okay. And then
it's fine for you to keep 8.5, 11. You could go smaller if you want.
And then do we have to like type in our design rationale or application mockups in the mural board?
Yep. It's helpful because you're going to be presenting your design rationale. And so having it on your mural board will be helpful for you so you have those notes in front of you. So in the comments when you submit on Blackboard is where you'll put your design rationale, and you'll include a link to your mural board. You don't have to include the link to your mural board. I'll see it. But you do want to make sure you incorporate your design rationale. And there's a spot for it on your mural board as well.
How do you do mockups?
You know what? We are out of time today, but I will show you how to do mockups on Tuesday so that you can put them into a mockup for your portfolio. Okay, we'll do that on Tuesday because
Okay,
we're out
so
of time right now.
Don't worry about
Don't
that.
worry. Don't worry about it. We'll do that on Tuesday.
Okay, thank you.
No worries.
I have one question as well, and I think the
Sure.
class appreciate the answer for this. So when we're submitting to Blackboard, I just want to make sure, should we also be submitting the link to our Google or our OneDrive?
No, you don't have to do that. Just submit the PDF directly into Blackboard. That's a great question.
And then
I
should we
want you to save on the
saving
OneDrive for yourself so you don't lose anything. But just send me the PDF into Blackboard, not the link, but just the actual PDF.
Okay, thank you.
Great question. Thank you. Any other questions before we wrap up? All right, you guys are doing amazing. I'm so excited to see your final business cards. Have fun with it. Enjoy using color. Have a good time. And make sure you put everything on your mural board so you have a complete process board. And then have your business cards ready to share with us your final business cards on Tuesday. Thanks, everybody. Have a great week.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.